Yeah, good morning, friends. Welcome back. So yesterday we have seen like what is the operating system and types of operating systems, and we have seen the theoretical part of the installation, right? So let us go there and check it again. So there are some terminologies that we need to understand carefully here, and one of the terminology was of booting. So what we said, booting is loading of your operating system. So whenever we switch on a computer, the computer will boot your operating system. The computer will load your operating system. But there are basic things we need to understand carefully here. See, the operating system is available in hard disk. Hard disk is a permanent storage device that we know very well, right? So the operating system is there in your hard disk. From hard disk, the operating system will go to RAM. So right now, the machine that you see here, there is a Windows 10 operating system here. Maybe like 10-15 minutes before I switch on this computer. So my operating system came from my hard disk into RAM. The operating system loaded from my hard disk into my RAM. That process is called booting. That is one thing we need to understand. The second thing is when a company manufactures a hard disk, like there are some very famous companies that you should know that manufactures your hard disk, like Samsung hard disk. This is quite famous. Okay. Then there is something called Seagate hard disk, and there is Western Digital hard disk. See, I have never mentioned a name like Microsoft or Linux here, right? Because Microsoft and Linux are the companies that develop your operating systems, that designs and develops your operating system. So I'm saying like Samsung, Seagate, and Western Digital. So these are the companies they manufacture hard disks. So what we have to do here is we have to download our operating system, or we have to buy our operating system from Microsoft or Linux, and we need to install the operating system in our hard disk. The operating system will come in a DVD or USB. So from here we need to install the operating system in hard disk, and from hard disk the operating system will go to RAM. This is the process. Every time whenever we switch on the computer, the operating system will go from hard disk to RAM. But when the machine is a new machine, there is nothing in the hard disk. So take the OS DVD or take the image of your operating system, that is called ISO image, and just install that ISO image in your hard disk. Let me show you again how to download the image. Go to Google and say, you can directly go to Microsoft website also. Just say Windows Server 2016 ISO. It can be 2016, it can be 2012, it can be 2019. Whichever operating system you're planning to install, that operating system you can select here. Okay, so just select, just say Windows Server 2016 ISO download. It will take you to the Microsoft website here. So click on the first link or the Microsoft link. Now here it will show you 2016 operating system, and we can see 180 days are free. Evaluation version is for 180 days, and we have some options to select here. So select your ISO image. ISO means your software will come in an image file. So if your software is coming in CDs and DVDs, we can easily get scratches on CDs and DVDs. So it will be like, not possible for you to use CDs and DVDs. You may feel some difficulty there. But if it is in ISO image, a image file, it will be easy for you to install the operating system in your machine. Maybe it is a physical machine, or maybe it is a virtual machine. Or if you want to copy that image into a DVD, you can simply burn that image into the DVD. That is also possible. Okay, so always select your ISO image and click on continue. Now just enter some name and number and some mail ID, and when you say continue here, it will download this image in your machine. So this image should be there in your machine for sure, so that you can do installation in your virtual machines. Okay, fine. So anyhow, the installation, the downloading is already done. I hope so. If not, then at least do the downloading part today, so that you can install this operating system in your virtual machine. Fine. Now, steps to install Windows operating system, that is server operating system as well as client operating system. Now these are the 4 steps we have. These are the 4 steps we need to follow. There are some interview questions that are very common in every way. Like, if you're facing interview somewhere in India, or if you're facing interview somewhere in Australia, America, or Africa, Dubai, anywhere, interview questions, majority of interview questions will be same. One of the most famous interview question that we will get is, do you know how to install operating system? Actually, normally in interviews, we say yes for everything, right? But you know what these people are doing nowadays? Means for some years actually, if you say yes, they will take you to the computer and they will ask you to install a particular operating system. I have seen many cases, I have seen many interviews, people who have faced interviews. They say like they ask them to do some practicals. Of course, they can ask you to do some practical. They may ask you to configure a server, they may ask you to configure a switch or a router, or they may ask you to configure some policy or security, or they may ask you to install some operating system. Installation of operating system is one of the most basic work we do in companies. Okay, so if they ask you how to do it, we need to explain this, and if they ask you to install, we need to follow these steps. Okay, so how to do the installation, friends? Take the OS DVD or ISO image, whatever. If it is ISO image, we need to copy in this USB. Okay, now switch on the computer or server and enter in BIOS. I hope you understood what is BIOS. Basic input output system. Remember I told you there is a preloaded software or preloaded program in your computer. If there is no operating system available, still BIOS will be there in your machine. Okay, what BIOS will do? BIOS has many advantages. If we can enable and disable something in BIOS, we can change date and time in BIOS, we can enable and disable the virtualization options and some other options in BIOS, as well as we can select the boot option. A computer can boot, or a computer can load your operating system from CD DVD. A computer can load operating system from USB. A computer can load operating system from hard disk, and a computer can load operating system from server. These are the 4 ways in which a computer can load operating system. So when we go to BIOS, we need to select from where a computer should load the operating system. If you're installing from DVD, select the option as DVD in BIOS. If you're installing from server, select the option as server in BIOS. So for that reason, we need to enter in BIOS. So once you enter in BIOS, there is a boot tab there. Under boot tab, we have these 4 options. So select your option. Okay. Then restart your machine. After selecting the boot option, we need to restart our machine. Okay. Now what it says here, how to enter in BIOS. How to enter, switch on the computer and press F2, F10, delete. These are the keys we need to press. These are the keys we need to press. Okay, I'll just add one more thing here. Select boot option and reboot the machine. Machine means it can be computer, server, laptop, anything. Okay, reboot the machine. But how to enter into BIOS? By pressing these keys. Majority of cases, this will be the key. But in some cases, in some computers and servers, it can be some other key. So if you're not aware of the key, like what key we need to press to enter into BIOS, you just need to go to Google and we need to search there. Okay, this particular company in this model, how to enter in BIOS. Let me just show you one basic example here. If I say Dell i5, okay, so just enter anything and just say like this. So it will ask you to like, press a key. How do I get into BIOS on a Dell laptop? So what it says here, see, it says press, wait a second, where is it? Yeah, press F2 key several times at the Dell logon screen during startup. Or in case if it is not working, then press F12 key. Okay, so this is your Dell computer. I just searched about the Dell machine. If you go with like Toshiba, Lenovo, HP, the key can be a bit different. But majority of cases it can be F2, F10 and F2, F10 and delete. Okay. Now, so once you reboot your computer, what it says, press any key to continue. See, whenever we install any Windows operating system, it will ask you to press any key. Any key means like any of the key on your keyboard. There is no key like A and Y. Just any key, like you can press enter or 1, 2, ABC, space bar, whatever. That is any key. So press any key and the installation process will begin. Now, when the installation process begins, it is much more easier for you to understand. Installation is not a big deal, but starting the installation, we need to follow these 4 steps. But once installation begins, we can easily follow the instructions and we can do all the installation without any issue. We will see the complete installation, no need to worry about that. But still, installation process is very, very easy. Okay, fine. So this is what we have to do. This is the installation process. These are the installation steps we need to follow. Okay. Now, let us move to the next scenario. The next scenario is your virtualization scenario. Remember what we said about virtualization scenario? We said to do practicals, to do MCSE practicals, we need minimum 2 machines. So how can we get 2 machines? How can we get 2 physical machines? That's very difficult for us to get 2 machines, right? So what we do here is, instead of getting 2 physical machines, we can simply take 1 physical machine with good configuration. Good configuration in the sense good hardware configuration. And in that 1 physical machine, we can install a software. We can install a simulation software called VMware Workstation. Okay, we can install a simulation software called VMware Workstation, and or maybe Oracle VirtualBox, or maybe you can go with one more software is called Hyper-V, that is from Microsoft. So you can use any of the software and you can do all the practicals there. Got it? So take a computer with certain hardware there. What is the requirement to install multiple operating systems in a single machine, or what is the requirement to create multiple virtual machines in a single physical machine? You need a particular hardware, and I have already mentioned here, if your machine is having this much hardware, then it is very easy for you to create virtual machines. It is very easy to install multiple operating systems in your single physical machine. You need minimum 8 GB RAM, okay, and you need a processor which is like i3 or above, and you need 100 GB free hard disk. So if you have this many things in your machine, it will be easy for you to install at least 2 operating systems in one single physical machine. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is install this software, VMware Workstation or Oracle VirtualBox. Not only for MCSE practicals, friends. In future, if you're planning to go with like Linux administration, then also we can use the same software, VMware Workstation simulation software. Okay, so the concept here is, by using this particular VMware Workstation simulation software, we can install multiple operating systems in a single computer, and we can run multiple operating systems in a single computer at the same time. That is the whole concept of this VMware Workstation software. Okay, now after installing this VMware Workstation software, you can see I have created 2 machines. Green machine is like Windows Server and the red machine is like client machine. So we need to allocate some hardware. Like what we have done for server, I said minimum 2 GB RAM and 2 cores and 60 GB hard disk. This much is enough for us to run a server. And coming to the client machine, I said 1 GB RAM and 1 core and 40 GB hard disk. In this example, I am using Windows 7 as a client machine, because if you go with Windows 10, it will use at least 2 GB RAM. It will consume more hardware. So for that reason, I am using Windows 7 as a client machine. Client machine is there just to see the output. So we have to do everything in server. We have to configure everything in server. And to see the output, we have to go to client machine. Like for example, we have disabled something. How to see whether it is working or not? We have to go to the client machine and we need to check. Suppose we are installing some application. How to see whether the application is installing or not? Again, we have to go to client machine and we have to check the output. So client machine can be Windows 7, Windows 8 or Windows 10. It can be anything. But for practical purpose, Windows 7 will use less space. It will use less resources. For that reason, I'm going with Windows 7. Got it? Internally, both the machines are connected with each other. No need to get confused here. Internally, both the machines are connected with each other. It's a very simple networking concept we need to remember. If the machines are not connected with each other, they cannot communicate. Either they should be connected physically or they should be connected through wireless technology. So these two virtual machines are internally connected with each other. So once you create these two virtual machines and once you configure these two virtual machines, they will communicate with each other. Okay. So the concept here is, this concept is called virtualization concept. So what is virtualization concept here, friends? Virtualization is a concept where on a single hardware, we can install multiple operating systems and we can use multiple operating systems at the same time. Got it? Virtualization is a concept of installing multiple operating systems in a single computer and using all these operating systems at the same time. This concept is called virtualization concept. Normally we call VMware. VMware is actually a company. Virtualization is a technology. Okay. So the first thing I have to do here is create a virtual machine, then install operating system. So before we move to the practicals, I'll just wait here for like 30 seconds. If you have any questions, any doubts regarding this setup, so feel free to clear your doubts and hopefully we can go and do the practicals. Okay, fine. No questions. So I guess everything is clear. That's good. So let us go and create two virtual machines. Installation of VMware Workstation software is very easy. Yesterday, I have already shared this software with some people. And if you send your mail ID to me, if you just ping me on this mail ID, Shakil Cloud 123, whatever I have written here. So if you can ping me on that mail ID, I'll just share this software with you. Okay. So we have to create two virtual machines here because we need at least two virtual machines for practicals, one for server and one for your client operating system. So first we'll create two virtual machines, then we will see how to install operating system in these two virtual machines. Okay, follow step by step, things will be more easy. Okay, so let us go back to this VMware Workstation software. It is already installed in my machine. And like I said, if you want to install it in your machine, it will be very like easy installation. Fine. So once you come here, VMware Workstation, we can see file and we can go to new virtual machine, or I can say to you, I can go to this create a new virtual machine option. So click on this create a new virtual machine and say next. Now here it is asking you to install the operating system. So remember what we have done? We have divided our configuration into two steps. First, create a virtual machine. Second, install the OS in a virtual machine. So right now we are simply creating the virtual machine. Installation of OS will be like after creation of virtual machine. Okay. So just select the last option. I will install the operating system later. Select the last option and then click on next. Here we need to select our operating system. Now it is showing you as guest operating system. See, the operating system is same. It is Windows Server 2016 or Windows 10 or Linux or whatever. The same operating system we can install in a physical machine. The same operating system we can install in a virtual machine. But when you install this OS in a virtual machine, it is called as guest operating system. So don't get confused here with the terminology. It is just your operating system. Okay. So go to this Microsoft Windows and select your operating system, whichever you're installing. So right now I'm installing Windows Server. So I will select Windows Server. So if you select Windows Server and if you do some other installation, the virtual machine will not work properly. So always remember this, whichever OS you're installing, we have to select that OS there. In case if you go with like Linux, and if you're installing Red Hat, select Red Hat. If you're installing like some other OS like CentOS or Debian or Fedora or whatever, just select that particular OS. Right now I'll go with Microsoft Windows and I'll go with Windows Server 2016. Done. Now I'll say next. Enter the name of your virtual machine. It will be easy for you to identify your machine by using a name. Always remember this, whenever it is asking you to enter the name is for our identification. Whether it is computer name or router name or server name or virtual machine name is the identification for a user. Okay, so always try to give a very easy name so that we can understand to which machine we are connected. So I said server 1. I said like 8:30 class because I'll be starting some other classes here. So I just select server 1, 8:30 class. Okay. Now there is one more option here that is called location. Location means, see, virtual machine is actually collection of files and folders. What is virtual machine? It is collection of files and folders. This virtual machine will be created at a particular place. By default, virtual machines will be created in your C drive. Whenever we install any application, it will go to C drive, right? But while installing application, we can change the path from C to D or D to E, whatever. But by default, the application will be installed in your C drive. So when you create a virtual machine, the virtual machine will be created by default in C. Let me take you there. So this is my computer. This is my C drive. In C drive, there will be a folder called users. And if you go to documents, can you see this virtual machines here? It will be created here. But can you see any virtual machine right now? No. What I have done here is I have went to this D drive. I have created a folder in this D drive with the name virtual machines, and I have selected this path here. Already 4 virtual machines are created. Actually, this is from my existing class. See, the 4 virtual machines has taken how much space here? 53 GB it has taken. 4 virtual machines, they have taken 53 GB. I can simply delete this actually because I have completed this batch, so I don't need to have these machines now. So I'm just saying delete. That's it. I have deleted 4 virtual machines. So see, the free space is more now. Okay. So what I have done here in my D drive, I have created a folder, and in this folder, I'll be creating all my virtual machines. So I have changed the location from my C drive to D drive. How to change the location? Just go to browse, and from here we can select D drive, E drive, whatever. So there is a default location in C, but if you want to keep the virtual machine in some other drive, you can keep in some other drive. Normally, the C drive will be always less in size, and the C drive is having very less free space. So if there is a D drive or E drive where there is more free space available, you can select the D, E, or F, whatever drive you want to select. So that is that location where exactly that virtual machine should be created. Okay, so select that particular location and then say next. Now it is asking you this space. Remember 60 GB is more than enough, but I'll go with like 100 GB. This is a classroom server, so I'll go with like 100 GB of space. Then again say next. It is asking you to finish the configuration or finish the creation of virtual machine. But I'll go to customize hardware here. See, it has taken 2 GB RAM and 1 processor. Remember, we have selected Windows Server 2016 there. So according to Windows Server 2016, it will select some processor and some memory. So it says 2 GB RAM is more than enough for us to run this virtual machine with server operating system. That is good. But what I will do here, I will simply go with 4 GB RAM. Remember, in my computer, there is totally 16 GB RAM. So if there is 16 GB RAM, I can go with 4 GB, no issues. But in your computer, friends, if it is like 6 GB or 8 GB, no need to go with like 4 GB. Just go with like 2 GB or maximum 3 GB for a server. That is more than enough for you to run the server in a easy way. 3 GB RAM is enough, but again, I have resources here, so I'll go with like 4 GB RAM. Okay, so I selected 4 GB. And coming to processors, I'll select number of processors as 2 and number of cores from processor as 2. That means total number of cores I am selecting here is 4. In this server, I am using 4 processor. 4 cores means it is equal to 4 processors. So just make changes here. Number of processors and total size of your memory. Select it and say close and say finish. See, virtual machine is created successfully. You can see this is a virtual machine. Remaining machines I'll just remove. Remember, I have just deleted these machines. Okay, fine. So we have only one virtual machine here, and this machine has 4 GB RAM, 4 processors, and 100 GB hard disk. This configuration is more than enough for me to show all the practicals if you're planning to learn. Okay. Now let us go to this home option again and create a new machine. This machine is for Windows 7. I'll again go with typical option. Again, I'll select the same option. I will install the OS later. Next. So which OS I need to select here? Windows 7. Now I need to go with like Windows 7 operating system. Okay. Then say next. Name of this machine will be like client 1830 class. See, the default location is D here. It is showing the default location as D. So this machine will be this machine also will be created in D drive only. I will be keeping all the machines in D drive. If you want to like keep this location permanently, can you see it is showing here? Go to edit and go to preferences and you can do this. Can you see there is a edit tab here? Beside file there is edit tab. So once you go to edit tab, there is an option called preferences. There you can simply configure this path permanently. Okay, fine. Just say next now. So again it is selected 60 GB hard disk. Okay, 60 GB hard disk is quite enough for this. So I'll go and select next here. Again, I'll go to customize hardware. 2 GB RAM is enough. And I'll just take 2 processors. This is again more than enough because this is just a Windows 7 machine, right? Now I can say close. I can say finish. See, the second virtual machine is also created. And this machine I have created with only 2 GB RAM and 2 processors. And hard disk I have taken here is 60 GB. So my physical setup is ready here. I have a server machine. I have a client machine. If you want to create one more client machine, you can go with one more client machine. But see, you need at least one client machine to see the output. If you have more resources, like suppose in your computer, you have like 16 GB RAM. So if you want to do practicals in 2 client machines, you can do practicals in 2 client machines. There is no problem there. But at least one client machine is sufficient. Done. So there are 2 machines that we have created. So one part is over. That is very simple. That is creation of virtual machine is done. This is done. Okay. Now we need to install the operating system in virtual machine. Now, listen carefully, please. To install operating system in virtual machine, first of all, we should have the ISO image downloaded. Remember, I told you I have already downloaded the ISO image, Windows Server image. So where is that image? Let me just show you my path. This is my computer. And if I go to this D drive, in D drive, can you see Windows Server 2016? I have Windows 7. I have like CentOS, that is Linux. I have all these images. So I will go with this Windows Server 2016. Okay. Now see, go to your virtual machine and can you see this option CD DVD here? Click on the CD DVD option. Here it will ask you to use ISO image. You can see this option clearly here. Use ISO image. So what to do now? Just click on browse. Go to this computer. Go to D drive. And there is a Windows Server 2016 ISO image already there in my machine. Click on open. This is the way we need to connect our ISO image to the virtual machine. If it is a physical machine, friends, this ISO image should be copied in a pen drive and that pen drive should be connected to the physical machine. If it is a DVD, the DVD should be connected to the physical machine. But this is a virtual machine here, right? So virtual machine, how to connect? This is the way to connect the operating system in the virtual machine. So what I have done, I have just said like use ISO image file and I have connected my image file. And always make sure this option is selected here. Connect at power on. I hope you can see this. Connect at power on. So just select that option and then say okay. That means my image is connected successfully. So once if I power on the virtual machine, the installation part will begin. But before I power on, I'll go to taskbar. Remember the taskbar is here. The bottom one is the taskbar. So I'll go to taskbar, right click, and I'll open task manager. Or you can just go to like start and you can type task manager. From here also you can access this particular tool. So what task manager will do? Task manager will show like how much resources are in use. So go to task manager and go to performance and see how much resources are in use. Right now 3.9 GB RAM is in use. How much? 3.9 GB RAM is in use. And processor, how much percentage used? Around 28-23% processor is in use. So just remember this. I'll just make a note here. RAM approximately 3.9 GB. That means up to 4 GB is in use. And CPU around 22% is in use. Okay. See, although we created two virtual machines here for Windows Server and for Windows 7, but the virtual machines are not powered on. These virtual machines are not switched on, and there is no operating system. That is the reason it is not using anything here. But once I start using the virtual machines, once I start installing operating system in the virtual machine, then the usage of RAM and CPU will increase. Okay, let us see that. So let us go back to the virtual machine now. Can I say power on this now? Once I power on this screen is for your virtual machine. This is the console for virtual machine. Or you can simply maximize from here. You can simply enter into full screen. So I'll just enter into full screen and I'll power on this virtual machine now. Okay, can you see there is a symbol? Cursor symbol is like a hand symbol. That's a very simple technical thing that we need to discuss here. If your cursor is a hand symbol, you can see clearly. That means this cursor is out of your virtual machine. That cursor is out of. So it is asking you to press any key. I am pressing some key. I hope you can hear this sound here. I am pressing that key, but it is not affecting in my virtual machine, right? Remember one thing, if the cursor is like a hand symbol, that means it is out of this virtual machine. If the cursor is inside this virtual machine, that will come as a arrow symbol. Okay, I repeat, once you switch on the virtual machine, I'll just reboot this machine, restart. If the symbol is a cursor symbol, if the symbol is a hand symbol, it is out of the virtual machine. If the symbol is a cursor symbol, then only it is inside the arrow symbol. So when it shows you like press any key, so you should first click inside the virtual machine and press any key. Let me just show that. It will take like 2-3 seconds. Within 2-3 seconds, we have to do this. Still, there is a cursor here. So I'm outside this virtual machine. I'm not inside. So now the virtual machine will ask you to press any key. Okay, I click inside. I just press any key. That's it. When it is asking you to press any key, first click inside the virtual machine and press any key on your keyboard. Now the installation process has started. And this installation is in virtual machine. Let me just show this. See, this is the virtual machine. And if I minimize this, this is my physical machine. I can do everything in my physical machine. I can just go to Google. I can just browse internet. I can access anything. I can do each and everything that I can do on a computer. Okay. But if you want to go and use my virtual machine, I can just go and use the virtual machine. So the installation is started in my virtual machine. Now let me tell you one thing loud and clear, friends. Whatever we do from now in this virtual machine, it will be same whether it is virtual machine or a physical machine. Whatever installations, configurations, administrations we do, it will be exactly same on a physical server or on a virtual server. But you know, majority of companies, they are using virtual machines only right now. You know, cloud computing. What is cloud computing? It is virtual machine. We are creating some virtual machines. In cloud, we call it as EC2 machine, but it is a virtual machine only. So whatever we do from now, it will be same on a physical server as well as on a virtual server. So don't feel like, okay, this is a virtual machine. Will it work like a physical server? 100% it will work like a physical server. Always remember one thing. We are working on a server operating system. We are not working on a machine. The machine can be from Dell company or HP company or IBM company. The machine can be a physical machine or a virtual machine. It doesn't matter. As administrator, we are working on Windows Server 2016. That is what we need to learn. We are not learning anything about the server hardware. Server hardware is like your computer hardware. We are working on the server operating system, and that server operating system is Windows Server 2016, or it can be 12, or it can be 19, or it can be even Linux operating system. Got it, friends? So this is what we need to remember. Done. Now from here, everything will be same. So I'll just say next here. I'll say install now. So the installation process has started in my machine. So whether it is physical machine or whether it is virtual machine, it doesn't matter. Everything will be same. Now see here, friends, how much CPU it is using. It is using around 50 GB, 50% now. And how much memory it is using? It is using around 4.8 GB. Just now we started the installation, so it will use more now. It will try to consume more resources. Okay, there are some options here. Actually, Windows Server 2016 comes in two editions. One is called Standard Edition, another one is your Data Center Edition. You can see four here, but actually there are only two editions: Standard, Data Center. Okay, we will go with Data Center. Everything is same actually, but what is the major difference? Let me just explain you. When you go with Data Center Evolution or when you go with Data Center Evolution Desktop Experience, these are the options. One is a data center evolution version. Another one is data center desktop experience. Now the difference here is if you go with data center desktop experience, that means you're installing this Windows Server 2016 in graphical user mode. GUI, graphical user interface. Operating systems are again divided into two types. One is GUI and another one is CLI. GUI means everything is graphics. Like say this is Windows 10. I'm using Windows 10 here and this is graphics here, right? I can use my keyboard, I can use my mouse, I can right click, I can send you, I can make a folder, I can make a file. This is your graphics. But CLI means like, Linux operating system is all CLI. So everything will be commands. Everything will be commands. So if you want to do something, we need to enter a command. If you want to configure something, we need to enter a command. That is your CLI. Okay. So Windows and Linux, there is a very tough competition between Windows and Linux actually. You know, for any business there is a competition for sure, right? Like if you go with your mobile phone, there is a competition between like iPhone and this Samsung. Remember some 12-13 years before, Nokia was the market leader. Okay, so Nokia has competition with some other mobile phones then, but right now there is no Nokia anywhere. Market is like fully occupied by iPhones and Samsung, or maybe like Oppo and Vivo and all those phones, right? So there is a competition. Coming to Windows Server, there is a huge competition with Windows servers. Coming to the servers, actually, there is a competition between Windows servers and Linux servers. Remember, I told you 95% cases, 90 to 95% cases in companies, it will be Windows servers or Linux servers. Or if you go to medium to big companies, in one company, there will be Windows servers as well as Linux servers. Got it? That is what these servers are all about. So what Linux people says, they say like we are more secure, we have like, more security, very less virus and so and so. Of course, Linux is more secure and there is very less virus in Linux compared to Windows. One of the main reason is Linux is a CLI operating system, command line interface operating system. But coming to Windows, Windows is a GUI operating system, graphical user operating system. Actually, both are good. Graphical is more easier to use. That is good. But again, there is a competition there, right, between Windows and Linux. So what Windows people have done here is they said, okay, we have made a Windows Server operating system in CLI. We are offering a Windows Server operating system in CLI, command line interface. So if you simply install Windows Server 2016 Data Center, that means it is CLI. But if you go with like desktop experience, that means it is GUI. Just remember this forever. Desktop experience is your graphical user interface. So I have selected my graphical user interface only. Next. I hope you understood the difference there. Normal edition is your CLI. The desktop experience is your GUI. Now it is asking to accept the license. We know this very well. Without accepting the license, we cannot install any operating system or any application. So we have to accept the license and then just say next. Now there are two options here. One option is upgrade, another option is custom. So what is the difference between upgrade and custom? Upgrade means, for example, the server is already there, and in that server we have Windows Server 2012. So without removing the configuration, without removing the data and the settings and everything, you can upgrade from Windows Server 2012 to Windows Server 2016. Or you can upgrade your computer or laptop from Windows 8 to Windows 10, or from Windows 10 to Windows 11. That is called upgrade. Without losing your configurations and everything, you can upgrade from the lower machine to the higher machine, or lower OS to the higher OS, older OS to the newer OS. Okay. But right now there is nothing in my machine, right? It's a new machine. So I have to go with custom. There is no operating system available in my machine. So I have to go with custom and say totally 100 GB hard disk is there. I'll do one thing. I'll make two partitions here. C 50 GB and D drive 50 GB. Always it is better if you make multiple partitions, right? So I'll just click on new here. I'll say 50,000, approximately 50,000. Approximately 50 GB will be created. Okay, say apply. But see what it shows you a message. It says to ensure that all the Windows features works correctly, Windows might create additional partitions. Okay, you know, some more partitions will be created actually, like recovery system and MSR. So these partitions are created and these partitions are by default available, and these partitions are hidden. We cannot see this partition in my computer or this PC. These are hidden. We can see this 48 GB partition and we can see this 50 GB partition. So I'll just say I'll create one more partition. So two partitions I have created here. So I'll go with this primary partition. I'll say next. I'm installing my operating system in that particular primary partition. That's it, friend. From here, the installation will be done automatically. It will take another 8 to 10 minutes. And in this 8 to 10 minutes, it will install the operating system. Okay, so right now it has completed 3%. So it should go and complete up to like 100%. If it is stuck in between somewhere for some reason, that means the installation process is not successful. Then we have to troubleshoot why the installation is not successful. Okay, so let us go back to this. Now see here, friends. If you go to task manager and performance, CPU it is using like more than 50%, 60% here. But memory, how much it is using? Can you see clearly? It is using 6.6 GB. It is going up. It is now 6.7, 6.8. That means this virtual machine is in use now. So it will start consuming more memory. It has already crossed 7.1 GB. Before it was using 3 point change. Now it is using more than 7 GB. So when you start using a virtual machine, then only it will consume your hardware. If you're not using the virtual machine, it will not use anything there. 7.7. And coming to the installation, already 21% installation is done. Okay, so only 34% is completed, so it will go and complete 100%. So meanwhile, let us see one simple thing here. Again, this is a very big interview question. So they will ask you a question like, what exactly is BSOD? What is this error? It is a very important interview question. BSOD stands for blue screen of death. BSOD stands for blue screen of death. So the interview question will be, why this blue screen of death comes? What exactly is this blue screen of death? I'll show you this blue screen of death. Just try to tell me whether you have faced this problem before in your computer or not. BSOD error, blue screen of death. It will look like this. It will look like this in some previous operating systems, and it will look like this in your latest operating system. So why this error comes? First of all, this is a very, it says, the name says everything, blue screen of death. So if this error comes in your machine, that means there is a very critical problem somewhere. It's a very serious problem somewhere. Okay. So why this error comes and how to troubleshoot? And when this problem comes, actually, the computer will go down automatically. Perform any activities, the computer will simply go down completely. Okay. Okay, I got an answer here like DLL file missing. Okay, that is one solution. That is one reason why this comes. Okay, there are actually two main reasons. One is from hardware side, another one is from software side. Okay, one is from hardware side, another one is from software side. Software side. Okay. Okay, before I go to blue screen of death, I'm getting a question here like maximum files share in Google Drive. See friends, Google Drive default size is 15 GB. The default storage you get in Google Drive is 15 GB. So you can upload any file up to like 15 GB there. Done? Okay, let us go back to the blue screen of death. What I said, the problem can be from hardware or software. It can be anything, hardware or software. If it is from hardware, in most of the cases, the problem is in RAM. This is your random access memory. This we have in every computer, right? So the problem will be in this RAM. So if there is a blue screen of death, you know what we have to do? We have to simply unplug the RAM. You should know how to unplug the RAM actually. This RAM is connected in the motherboard. So can you see this white color one? This is called, notch. So just, it's something like a lock there. So just remove this and remove the memory from there. And can you see this yellow metal on this memory? The green color is your complete chip and this yellow metal. The bottom you can see yellow color there, right? Just take a eraser and just try to rub that yellow metal slowly. Because if there is some, dust there, it will not work properly. So you may get that blue screen of death. So remove it and just rub it gently and just then again put it back. In most of the cases, your RAM will work perfectly again. But again, if you're getting blue screen of death, that means the RAM is not working properly. So how to troubleshoot this? In companies, you know what we do, how we troubleshoot, or in real case, we just remove this RAM from this motherboard, from this computer, and we put the RAM in some other computer. Suppose in some other computer, you're not getting blue screen of death. That means there is no problem in the RAM. The problem can be somewhere else. This is the way we have to troubleshoot. You cannot troubleshoot everything in a single computer. In companies, we have our own server room. There will be some spare machines available, some computers available. So if you want to test, just remove that particular part from that machine and put the same component in some other machine. And if it is working perfectly there, that means there is no problem in that component. The problem can be there in some other place. Okay. So majority of cases, if the uh, blue screen of error comes, blue screen of death comes, then you know what we have to do, remove the RAM and rub it and put it down. But still if it is coming, then the problem can be there somewhere in a hard disk. Okay, so this is majorly your hardware error. It can be the problem in your hard disk or it can be the problem in RAM. Done. Now coming to software. Software error is again a very common error. Normally when you do browsing, it will ask you to install something there, right? It will say like, okay, to open this particular file or to open this particular folder, this particular software must be installed. So if you're installing some unnecessary software, some unlicensed software, those softwares can damage your operating system. How virus will spread and how hackers will hack the machines and servers. They will simply send you a message like, congratulations, you have won $50 billion. $50 billion is of course a big money, right? You just go and click on that particular link. A technical person will not fix, but a normal person, he will just go and click on the link, assuming like he has won $50 billion. So once he click on the link, that means he has allowed some other person to enter into his computer, or he has allowed the virus to enter into the computer. So whenever you get these messages, you should not click on it. I remember there was a time 10, 12 years before, the most common email was, they used to send an email like, congratulations, you have won a trip to Goa for like 1 week or 10 days. For us Indians, Goa is something like huge, right? So people used to click on it. And that was the easy way of hacking a particular computer or sending virus and all those things. Okay, fine. So whenever you get any message like this, like, open this or install this application or install this software to open this photo and all those things, you should always try to avoid such software's installation, because it can damage your operating system, and again the blue screen of death will come. Got it? So you should not install any unnecessary softwares. Okay, but suppose by mistake you have done some installation, any software you have installed. Now how to remove that software from your computer? It is a big interview question, friends. Again, so I'm asking the same question to you. I hope I'll get an answer here. My question is, how to remove or uninstall is the actual terminology. Install applications from computer or server, both are same anyway. So how to install, how to uninstall, actually not install, how to uninstall applications from computer. Anyone please, how to uninstall this? Programs and features, and there is add remove exact. In control panel we have like add remove programs, so by using that add remove programs we can install, right? So when blue screen of death comes, then uninstall the programs. But how to uninstall, the machine will not work properly, right? Now see how to do this. Yeah, Narendra, exactly. AppWiz.cpl is the shortcut here. This is shortcut, so just click on it and you can simply go to that, and from here you can select the software. Like suppose if I select the software like Cisco Packet Tracer, uninstall, I can do that. Great. Now see, if blue screen of death comes, then better you switch on the computer, enter in safe mode. There is one more very important feature we have in our machine, that is called safe mode. Okay, enter in safe mode and uninstall app or software, whatever. So what exactly is a safe mode? Before we see safe mode, let us go and see 88% installation is done. That is well and good. Fine. Okay, coming back to the safe mode. Safe mode is a mode using which we can enter. See, whenever you switch on a computer, always we enter into a computer by using a normal mode. Normal mode means everything will work perfectly. All things, all files we can use. But safe mode is the option we can use when the Windows, the operating system is not working properly. So if you want to restore something, we can go to safe mode, or if you want to uninstall something, we can go to safe mode, or if you want to troubleshoot something, we can go to safe mode. So how to enter in safe mode? Again, once you switch on the computer, within 2-3 seconds, remember how to enter in BIOS? switch on the computer and press F2, F10, F12 or delete button, right? But if you want to enter in safe mode, it will show like this. It will show this safe mode there. So if you want to enter in safe mode, switch on the computer and press F8 key. Exactly. To enter in safe mode, press F8 key within 2 to 3 seconds. Within 2 to 3 seconds, press this key and you can enter in safe mode and you can do all these things. So just try to remember this BSOD, blue screen of death. So in companies, there are some hundreds and thousands of computers. So this is a very common error. So they will ask you what you do if the blue screen of death comes. Then we have to just answer something. So that is more than enough for us. Okay, so to answer that particular question. And meanwhile, see the installation is completed, the machine is rebooting. The machine will reboot for 3 times while installing. So everything is automatic process now. The class will go for next 10 more minutes, friends. We can finish the installation today. And the next class will be on Monday. See, classes will be there minimum for 5 days a week, or we will go with like 6th day also. But tomorrow I'll be completing some other classes, some of my existing classes. So this Saturday I'm taking off for your class. I'll be completing some other classes. Next Saturday, hopefully we can just plan something, or at least classes will be there for 5 days a week. 6th day we can plan according to our schedule. And tomorrow 10 o'clock there is a demo session on CCNA. CCNA first class will be there on Monday at 10 a.m. But tomorrow is a demo session at 10 a.m. So if you have time, just come and attend the demo session. I'll be discussing about Cisco technologies, CCNA certifications, and what you're going to learn in CCNA, what will be there after CCNA, what is CCNP, CCI, all those things I'll be discussing tomorrow. It's just a seminar actually, not a demo actually, just a seminar. So you can come and attend that seminar tomorrow at 10 a.m. The management will send a link to you today, hopefully. It's a free seminar, so you can just get some idea about Cisco. I can get idea about the networks actually. Seminars will be actually at 10 a.m. only, because if you're not able to come tomorrow, again the same seminar will be there on Sunday also. You can join the seminar maybe tomorrow, Saturday, or maybe on Sunday. If you have some office on Saturday, Sunday will be like much easier for you to attend. I hope so. It will be midnight for you. Okay, you're coming from some other place, I guess. Okay. But classes is also from 10 a.m. Not only seminar, the classes is also from 10 a.m. By the way, in the background, the machine is rebooting, so we are simply not wasting the time. We are waiting for the installation. It will be like too late for you, I guess. Yeah, 12:30 a.m. off. Very sorry for that, man, but still, yeah, there is no other option here as of now. between 3 a.m. till 6. Yeah, something you need to sacrifice at least for a month. So if you can do that, hopefully you can learn something there. Yeah, done friends. Installation is done. Now see here. Once the installation is done, it will ask you to enter the password. Can you see the username here? By default, the username is administrator. Now it will ask you to enter the password. So I'm entering a password as this ABC at 123. Here also I will enter the same password ABC at 123. That is my password ABC at the rate 123. When you do the installation, just give the same password ABC at 123 because there is some password policy that we need to discuss. So better go with ABC at the rate 123. It will be easy for you to remember also, right? I'll say finish. My installation is done. Windows Server 2016 installation is successfully completed. Okay, the time is showing a bit incorrect here, so I'll just change the time and everything. So now we need to log in here. 5 to 7 more minutes, friends. So log in. By default, we will log in as administrator. So this is the first time we are logging into the server. And for many of you, this is the first time you are looking at a server operating system, right? But remember, I told you this server operating system is exactly like your Windows 10 operating system or Windows 8 operating system. You already know how to operate a server operating system. You just need to learn how to configure it. So the look and the feel, the options, all are same in your server OS as well as in your client OS. See here, you can see recycle bin there. You can see date and time there. Okay. You can just go to this PC and you can see C drive, D drive, all the drives created there. See, everything is looking same here, right? If you compare your OS with your server OS. So this is your desktop, downloads, documents, everything is same. So this is actually your server OS. If you want to make sure if it is server OS or not, or which OS it is, just go to run and say WinVer, Windows version. Just say WinVer and say okay. Can you see here? It shows you Windows Server 2016. Whatever OS you are installing, it will show that. If I go back to my physical machine, like if I say WinVer here it is showing Windows 10 version, right? So done, that's it. Okay, so let me go back to the server now. So the installation is completed and there is something called server manager. This is what we need to see, we need to do. Now, the last thing for today is once we create a virtual machine, friends, there is something we have to do. Once we create our virtual machine, we have to go and install something called VM tools. Install VM tools. This is the third thing we have to do. Normally once we install any operating system in a machine, there is something called drivers. We have to install drivers there. Okay, drivers means your USB card should be working, NSA card should be working, sound card should be working, display should be good. This is called driver. So if you want to install drivers, we can install drivers in a physical machine, but in a virtual machine it is called VM tools. See, if I go to this virtual machine, see this screen size, it is not completely fitting on your screen, right? It is just in middle actually. So it is not completely fitting and the keyboard and mouse performance will not be good. So always friends, whenever you create a virtual machine and install your operating system, the first thing you should do is install VMware tools. VMware tools will enhance your virtual machine performance. VMware tools will improve your virtual machine performance. So by improving that virtual machine performance, you can use it in a better way. Okay, so how to install that VM tool? Just go to this taskbar and right click on this virtual machine and there is an option here called install VM tools. Click on this install VM tools option. It is asking you to install. I'm saying like install. Okay, now go to this computer option. See, this is a VM tool in CD. So double click on this VM tool and the installation process will begin. I repeat, after completing installation of operating system in a virtual machine, install VM tools. VM tools will help you a lot in using your virtual machine. It will ease your virtual machine performance. It will improve your virtual machine performance. Okay, so the VM tools installation has started now. It will take only like 2 minutes for us to finish the installation. Next, typical next, and just say install. So it is installing VM tools, and you can see clearly it will install a lot of things in your virtual machine. You have 2 days time here, friends, Saturday and Sunday. Just try to install this server operating system and be familiar with this VMware Workstation software, because whatever we do from next week, all the practicals you have to do it by yourself. And if this is installed in your machine, you can do the practicals. Okay, now see here, the screen is looking like it is fitting your screen. The display is fitting your screen. So now I can say finish. Now it will ask you to restart my machine. Okay, I'll restart my machine. But before I restart the machine, I'll go back to my CPU utilization. See how much it is using here. It is using around 7.9 GB. Remember, it was using 3 GB before, 3.9 GB. It is using 7.9 GB. That means it is using 4 GB of memory now. So already 50 GB of memory is used from my physical machine. Approximately 8 GB is already used. So no issues. I have 8 more GB, right? So I can make some more virtual machines here. So I don't have any problem in my machine. Okay. Now 8 GB RAM is in use right now. So it is asking me to restart the machine. So I'll do one thing. Instead of restarting, I'll simply shut down the machine. So next time when I switch on the machine, it is something like restart only, right? Or should I restart? Okay, I'll just restart. 2 minutes, please. I'll just restart the machine. I'm restarting the virtual machine. And Narendra Singh, I think this is a first class for you, right? And if you want to, yeah, you have any knowledge of computer networks or anything else?
Yes, sir. I'm a Microsoft technician, like level 3 technician
Okay.
in consumer line.
Okay. So I got an answer from you about that blue screen of error and something. So I thought like you have some errors. Okay. So what is your reason for learning MCSE and CCNA? Hopefully, what you're
I want
exactly
to go
planning
in
to do?
commercial line. I want to go in commercial line. I'm in consumer line, so I wanted
Okay.
to join in commercial. So uh, after that, I will learn Azure. So I need a basics for.
Okay. So you don't have any idea of the administration part, I guess.
No, I know about it, but like but to have a to clear the interview, I just want to be like more like trained in it.
Okay. So what we are learning in this course is actually the administration part, the Windows Server administration part. Windows servers are designed for many purpose: administration, virtualization, cloud, and there are many other usage of Windows Server. So what we are learning here is the administration part, Windows Server 2016 administration. Okay. Now,
Okay.
fine. So the installation part is done. I have rebooted my computer here. So let me go and check. Again, it is showing 7.8, right? Now see, before you shut down your physical machine, friends, always shut down your virtual machine, then shut down the physical machine. How to shut down the virtual machine? Virtual machine is having the operating system, right? So just go to start, power, and just say shut down. That's it. There is no other way. Okay, there are some other ways like we can shut down by some other means, but always better you shut down by this way. This is called safe shutdown. So see, I'm shutting down my virtual machine now. So once I shut down these virtual machines, once it goes down completely, you can check the RAM utilization there. See, the machine went down completely now. You can see it is shut down. I'll close this VMware workstation and see the memory came back to like 3.6 again. That's it. So till the time you were using your virtual machine, the machine will be using all the resources. But once you shut down that virtual machine, all the resources will go back to your hardware. So machine is free and it is completely safe. There is no problem in using this VMware workstation, friends. It is designed for this only. So absolutely there is no problem. It will not make any changes in your computer hardware. It will not make any changes in your files and folders. So nothing will happen. Just try to install this in your machine and do all the practicals. So we have seen the Windows Server installation, 2016 installation, and coming to the Windows 7 installation, it will be exactly same. You can easily do your Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10 installation. If you know any one Windows operating system installation, all the other Windows operating system installation will be exactly same. There is no difference. Done. So this was one of the most important session for you, actually, the installation part. It took like 2-3 days for us to finish the operating system part. Software is a very, very major part of our career. You should know what is a software, why it is designed, how to install, how to configure, how to use. This is a very major part of our administration career. So I hope things are clear for you now. VM tools from the same place, Ranjish. Just go to this machine. I'll just show you again. So this is your virtual machine, right? So right click on this virtual machine and here we can see this VM tools. The machine should be powered on actually. So that is the reason it is not showing here. So just right click on that virtual machine and click on VM tools and it will start the installation. That's it. Okay, fine. So like I said, the next class will be on Monday, our MCC class at same time. That is 8:30 a.m. But Saturday and Sunday, we have a seminar on CCNA, routing and switching. This is called routing and switching codes at 10 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Just try to come on any one day, Saturday or Sunday. It will be same session on both the days. So according to your schedule, just try to come on any one day. And from Monday at 10 a.m. Indian Standard Time, the CCNA classes will start. Okay. So I can say one thing, in next 35 to 36 days, actually, 35 to 36 days, you can complete your Windows Server administration plus network administration, that is your CCNA. Now after completing Windows Server administration and network administration in next 35 days, you will be in a great position to decide for yourself. You know, many people are thinking of going with like cloud computing. Many people are thinking of like securities and cyber securities and all those things. I always say one thing, friend, just finish your server administration and network administration part, get the knowledge, then decide what is better for you. If you go with like server part, if you go with like network part or cloud or virtualization or securities or ethical hacking or everywhere there is a huge career. Everywhere you have many opportunities. But it's up to the person's interest, right? Maybe someone is interested in security, maybe someone is interested in cloud. I can say one thing, cloud and security are the two options from where you should select. I can say that much, but I cannot force anyone to like say go with cloud or go with security. It's up to the person's interest. Okay, so you know when you play football, one person is more interested as a striker, one person is more interested as a in a defending position, right? So it depends on the person's interest and the abilities and all those things. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do next. But after completing these two courses, you can decide in a better way whether to go with like cloud or security or anything else. Okay, these are the very much, I cannot say Windows Server administration and network administrations are basics actually. These are not basics actually. These are administration courses. Of course, the cloud and the securities are like a bit more advanced in these courses, but to learn those courses, you have proper knowledge on these particular two courses. Okay. So coming to the CCNA, like I said, you tomorrow and after tomorrow, there is a seminar. You can just check it. Okay. So hopefully you can join this CCNA class from Monday 10 a.m. Okay, it's clear. So that's good if it is clear. So I'll be here for like 30 more seconds, friends. If you have any other doubts, any other questions regarding our course or anything else, feel free to send your questions. Hopefully we can see that. Or else we can stop our class today. Sorry for a lengthy class. Actually, it went a bit longer today. Installation part will take a bit more time, but from next class, hopefully the class will be only for like 1 hour, 10 minutes maximum. 70-minute session will be like more than enough for us. And I hope you'll be getting all the recorded sessions. You're watching those videos on YouTube, but from Monday, MCSE classes will be directly forwarded to you to your mail ID, whatever mail IDs you have provided there. So they will be shared with you directly. Each and every class will be recorded in the last class. Okay, so that's it from me for today, friends. Have a nice day, have a nice weekend. And tomorrow is a demo, a seminar for CCNA. But there is no MCSE class for tomorrow and after tomorrow. Okay. Okay, Vinesh, no problem. Okay, fine. So I guess there are no more questions here. So I hope everything is clear. So if you have anything else, just make a note of that question. Hopefully in the next session, we can just clear all these doubts. Always feel free to send me your queries. Feel free to send me your questions in chat box. It will be easy for me to address all the questions. Okay, that's it, friends. That's it for today. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. So see you on tomorrow. If anyone is coming for CCNA demo, see you tomorrow. If not, then see you on Monday at same time for MCSE session. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye. Thank you.